Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. The door locked behind her. The bell had already rung. Students flooded the hallways, chatting, laughing, shoving past one another to get to their next class. But for Maya, her first week at Jefferson High had been nothing but a blur of cold stares and whispered giggles. She clutched her books tightly to her chest as she made her way through the corridor, eyes downcast. Her long braids brushed over the words, taped crudely to her locker yesterday. Go back to where you came from. She hadn't told anyone, not even her father. He already had enough to deal with after the move. Besides, this wasn't the first time she'd had to start over at a new school. But this place, it was different. There was a venom in the way they looked at her. Not just because she was new, not just because she was black. It was something deeper, something crueler. And the worst of them? Aubrey James and her clique. They were the queens of Jefferson High, rich, blonde, born with power and privilege dripping from their designer bags. Their smiles were fake, their laughs sharper than knives. From day one, Aubrey had chosen Maya as her target, and today, things would go too far. It started in the classroom. Fourth period was biology. Maya usually sat in the back, away from eyes and whispers. But today, as she entered the room, something was off. It was empty, no teacher, no students. She turned to leave, but the door slammed shut behind her. Click! The lock turned. She spun around, heart racing. Her books fell from her arms, thudding onto the cold tile floor. The lights flickered, then laughter. Aubrey stepped out from behind the teacher's desk, flanked by two girls, Chloe and Madison. All three wore mocking smirks like they were rehearsing for a twisted school play. "Oh no," Aubrey cooed, circling Maya. "Did little Miss Nobody get lost?" "What do you want?" Maya said, voice calm, but her fingers curled into fists. Chloe laughed. "Look at her, still trying to act like she's tough. We just wanted to have a little private talk," Aubrey said. She reached out and flicked one of Maya's braids. "You don't belong here, sweetheart. Jefferson High isn't for people like you." "People like me?" Maya asked. "You know exactly what I mean." Madison pulled something from her backpack. A phone. She started recording. "Let's give her a memory," she said. Aubrey stepped in closer. "You walk around like you're better than us. Always so quiet, always watching. Who do you think you are?" Maya stayed silent, staring. Straight ahead, Aubrey's voice rose. "Answer me!" Still no reply. Then in one sudden motion, Chloe shoved Maya hard in the shoulder. She stumbled back into a desk. The metal legs screeched. The laughter stopped. Maya stood slowly, straightened her shirt, picked up one of her books. Then she looked at them, really looked at them, and something in her eyes changed. They had no idea who they cornered. Aubrey laughed, but it was nervous now. "What, gonna cry?" Maya's lips twitched into the faintest smile. It wasn't sad, it wasn't scared, it was calm. "You locked the door behind me," Maya said softly. Chloe stepped forward again, maybe to push her, but before she could raise her arm, Maya caught it. Not just caught it, snatched it out of the air and twisted. Chloe screamed and dropped to one knee. Madison backed away, phone still in hand, recording trembling. Aubrey's mouth fell open. "You don't want to do this," Maya said quietly, but they already had. Years of her father's training weren't just for discipline. He had served 2 tours overseas. He taught her not just how to defend herself, but how to end a fight before it ever truly began. Maya stepped toward Aubrey now. "You think because I'm quiet, I'm weak?" she asked. Aubrey stumbled back into the wall, eyes wide with disbelief. Maya didn't touch her. She didn't have to. She turned instead to Madison, who was still filming. "Post that," Maya said. "I want them to see what happens when you push someone too far." Madison lowered the phone like it was on fire. "Open the door," Maya said. Nobody moved. So Maya walked over to the door, pulled a bobby pin from her hair and, to their shock, picked the lock with a few practiced twists. She opened the door, turned back, and said just 3 words, "This isn't over." And whispers spread. Like wildfire, by the time she walked down the hallway, her heart pounding but her face unreadable, word had already started to spread. Someone had seen her come out of the classroom. Someone had seen Chloe crying. Rumors, whispers. She snapped. She flipped Chloe's arm. She unlocked the door like she was in a movie or something. Is she, like, trained? By the end of the day, no one was laughing at Maya anymore. Not out loud, anyway. But something darker was brewing, because people like Aubrey didn't back down quietly, and Maya knew she hadn't won. She had just declared war, the warning. She didn't ignore. Maya didn't go straight home after school. She walked to the edge of the park 3 blocks away, sat on the rusted swing, and let the silence settle in. Her fingers were still tingling from the adrenaline. Her mind raced with everything that had just happened. She hadn't planned on reacting like that. But something in her had snapped. Not out of anger, out of instinct. Her father's voice echoed in her head. "If someone ever traps you, you don't ask for permission to survive." And that's exactly what she did. But now there would be consequences. Back at home, her dad was sitting on the porch when she got back, still in his work clothes, boots dusty, arms folded, watching the street. He didn't say anything at first, just watched her walk up the steps. Then, "Something happened today?" Maya paused. "Why do you ask?" "You've got that storm in your eyes look, like me, back when I came home from overseas." She hesitated, then said, "I handled it." His eyes narrowed. "I didn't start anything," she added quickly. "They locked me in a classroom, tried to mess with me. I warned them." He leaned back in the chair, exhaled. "Did you hurt anyone?" Maya looked away. "I didn't need to, not really." He nodded slowly. "People like that. They don't back off easy." "I know. You sure you're ready for what comes next?" Maya clenched her jaw. "I've been ready." Aubrey wasn't done. The next day, Jefferson High buzzed like a hive. Everyone had seen the video. It hadn't been posted yet, but Madison, pressured by her brother on the football team, had shared a clip with a few people. It spread fast. A few seconds of Maya snatching Chloe's arm and twisting it like she was made of wires, not muscle. The way she unlocked the door like she'd done it 100 times. Rumors grew louder. "She's ex-military or something." "Her dad's a spy. Don't mess with her, she'll break you." But behind the fear was something else, envy, and no one envied her more than Aubrey James. The bathroom trap-it was 3rd period when Maya got the anonymous message on her school email. "Principal wants to see you. Come to staff restroom hall C." Strange. She packed her things and walked down the quieter hallway near the art wing. Hall C was mostly storage and old classrooms. The staff restroom was at the far end. Door cracked. She pushed it open. No one. Inside, the door slammed behind her. Click again. Maya didn't flinch this time. Her breathing slowed instead. From the stall, Aubrey emerged, hair flawless, lipstick dark, eyes full of something new, not just cruelty, but obsession. "You're not scared?" she asked. "No," Maya replied. "You should be." Another door opened behind her. Chloe, then Madison. But this time they weren't recording. This time they had something else. A taser, shock, and silence. The crackle of electricity filled the small space. Chloe lunged first, but Maya dodged sideways. The taser sparked against the metal of a paper towel dispenser. She grabbed Chloe by the wrist, slammed her into the sink counter. Chloe dropped like a rock. Madison screamed and backed away. Aubrey struck from behind, a blow to Maya's ribs. She stumbled, wind knocked out of her, but twisted and shoved Aubrey against the door. It bounced open slightly. She could run, but she didn't. Instead, Maya reached into her backpack and pulled out her dad's old military training log. She tossed it on the floor in front of them. "You want to know who I am?" she said through clenched teeth. "Read it." Aubrey looked down at the battered, handwritten log. its pages filled with drills, maneuvers, psychological notes. Notes. In Maya's handwriting, too. You think you're better than us, Aubrey hissed. No, Maya said. I just know exactly what I'm capable of. Then, without another word, she turned and walked out, leaving Chloe groaning on the tile and Madison frozen with fear. The office. Visit minutes later, the principal called her in. I heard about an altercation, he began. Maya sat upright, calm. I was cornered in the staff bathroom. Again, no cameras down that hallway, right? The principal looked uncomfortable. I didn't touch them, Maya added. Not this time. He hesitated. We don't tolerate fighting here. Good, Maya said. Then I assume Aubrey will be suspended? The principal blinked. He knew, everyone knew. But Aubrey's family was old money in this town. Donors, benefactors, puppeteers. I'll speak to her, he said weakly. Maya stood. You do that. Whispers become warnings. By the end of the day, something shifted. The popular crowd wasn't mocking her anymore. They were watching her, cautiously, some even respectfully. One football player stopped her by the vending machines. You really scare them, he said. I'm not trying to, Maya replied, but you do, he said. And maybe that's a good thing. But not everyone agreed. That night, an anonymous DM came through her Instagram. They're planning something bigger. Don't come to school Friday. She stared at it for a long moment. She didn't know who sent it. But she knew one thing. Aubrey. James wasn't done, and this time she wouldn't come at Maya alone. The final blow was coming. Later that night, Maya sat at the kitchen table. Her father poured 2 glasses of juice, sat across from her, and placed a small black box on the table. She looked at it. What's this? He slid it over. Your mother's necklace. She wore it on the worst days. Said it reminded her who she was. You'll need that soon. Maya opened the box. Inside, a delicate chain with a small tiger's eye stone, warm and golden under the light. I'm not scared, she said. I know, her father replied. But be smart. Strength isn't always fists. Sometimes it's knowing when to wait. Friday was coming, and Maya could feel it in her bones. Something was going to happen. A storm wasn't coming. It was already here, and she was standing right in the middle of it. The Friday setup, Friday morning arrived with a thick, humid silence. Rain. Clouds hovered over Jefferson High like a warning. Students filed in with soaked backpacks and umbrellas dripping on tile floors. Everything felt off. Maya stood in front of the school, staring at the brick building, the necklace her mother once wore warm against her skin. She could feel something crawling beneath the surface of this day, something premeditated. She remembered the message clearly, don't come to school Friday. But she came anyway, not because she wanted a fight, because she wouldn't run from one. Inside the trap, the morning passed strangely calm. No notes on her locker, no whispers in the halls, not even a single glare from Aubrey's crew. Too quiet. She knew this wasn't peace. It was the silence right before the wire snapped. Then during 5th period, the trap was triggered. Hey, said a shy sophomore named Becca, walking up to her in the hallway. Miss Kellerman said she needs to see you in the library office. Right away. Maya's gut twisted. Library office. It was lunchtime. The library would be nearly empty. Still, she nodded. Thanks. She walked there slowly, scanning corners, checking behind her. But when she stepped through the double doors, everything looked normal. 2 students at a table, headsets in. The front desk was empty. She turned toward the back office. The door was open. Inside, Aubrey stood waiting. Alone. No Chloe. No Madison. Just Aubrey. Face to face with fire, Maya didn't flinch. She stepped inside. You really had to lure me here. With fake messages again, she said. Aubrey gave a small, unsettling smile. This isn't a trap. This is an invitation. Invitation to what? To end this, you and me, right here. Maya crossed her arms. There's nothing to end. You lost the moment you started playing games you didn't understand. Aubrey's eyes darkened. You humiliated me, she said. You made me look weak. Do you know what that means for someone like me? Maya didn't answer. It means people stop fearing me. And when they stop fearing you, she stepped closer, they stop respecting you. Maya's voice was calm. Maybe you were never worth respecting to begin with. Something in Aubrey snapped. She lunged, fists clenched, but Maya sidestepped her with ease. Her reflexes were fluid, almost graceful. She grabbed Aubrey's wrist mid-swing and spun her into the desk. Thud. Aubrey gasped, stumbling back. I told you once, Maya said through her teeth. I'm not the one you want to fight. But Aubrey wasn't listening. She reached into her blazer and pulled out something shiny, a small pocket knife. The knife's edge, Maya's eyes narrowed. The two girls circled each other in the small office. Bookshelves towered around them. No cameras, no witnesses. Aubrey was breathing hard now, not from exhaustion, but desperation. Drop it, Maya said. You think you're better than me because you know how to fight. You think you're a warrior, Aubrey sneered. I don't. You think I'm a warrior, Maya said slowly. I know I'm someone who survived things you couldn't imagine, Aubrey slashed forward. Maya stepped back, just in time. The blade nicked her sleeve. She grabbed a hardcover book from the shelf and hurled it at Aubrey's hand. The knife, who dropped with a clang on the floor. Maya kicked it far across the room, then stepped in and shoved Aubrey hard into the wall. Her forearm pressed against Aubrey's collarbone, pinning her in place. You've had chance after chance to stop, Maya hissed. And every time you chose hate. Aubrey choked on her breath. What are you going to do? Maya leaned in. Nothing. Then she let go. What power really looks like. Aubrey collapsed into the chair behind her, gasping. Maya walked over, picked up the knife, and set it on the desk. Here's your weapon, she said. You can keep it. I don't need one. Aubrey blinked, confused. Maya turned to leave, and then she said it. You think people respect you because they fear you. But you've never earned real respect in your life. You've only bullied it out of others. That's not power. That's cowardice. With a crown. She walked out of the office without looking back. Aubrey didn't follow. Fallout news of the incident didn't take long to spread. The librarian found Aubrey in the office shaking, knife still on the table. She didn't say much, claimed she brought the blade for protection. But the truth unraveled quickly. Someone had overheard Becca talking about the setup. Others had seen Maya head into the library, and when they saw her come out unharmed and Aubrey humiliated, the story told itself. The school board got involved. This time even money couldn't protect Aubrey. Suspension, investigation, possible expulsion. But Maya said nothing. No threats, no boasts, no revenge posts. That's what confused everyone most. She just returned to class, quiet, stronger. A message. From the shadows that night, a new message popped into her DMs. They thought you were just another quiet girl. They had no idea you were a storm. Respect. It was anonymous, but Maya smiled. Not because she wanted the attention, because finally, someone saw her clearly. But it wasn't over. Yet the next morning, she arrived at school early and taped something. To the bulletin board near the front office, a single page from her dad's training log. It read, "Victory isn't when your enemies fall. It's when they choose never to stand against you again." Students passed by, staring. Some smiled. Others whispered, and though Maya didn't speak much that day, her presence roared louder than any voice ever could, because she had survived the storm. And now, she had become one. The secrets they couldn't bury. The storm should have been over. Aubrey was suspended. Chloe transferred schools. Madison deleted all her socials and hadn't shown her face since Friday. The school halls no longer buzzed with snide comments or sneaky laughter when Maya passed. For once, there was silence, but silence didn't mean safety, and Maya knew that better than anyone. Back into the shadows, Monday came and went without incident, then Tuesday, then Wednesday. The calm was so heavy it felt unnatural, like the school was holding its breath. And then, during lunch on Thursday, Maya saw it, something no one else noticed. A student she'd never seen before, sitting at a table in the far corner, pale, wiry, wearing earbuds, pretending to scroll through his phone. But he was watching her. She caught his eye once. He looked away too quickly, too deliberately. Then she noticed the dark car outside the school gates when she walked home, parked, engine running, windows tinted. By the third day in a row, it wasn't paranoia, it was surveillance, the call. She had to make that night. Maya waited until her father was done washing dishes. Then she stepped onto the back porch with his old phone, one she remembered. From when she was younger, she entered a number from memory. It rang twice before someone picked up. A deep voice on the other end. "I hoped we'd never have to speak again." She swallowed. "It's me, Maya. I know who it is. There's someone watching me, someone who doesn't belong to school, not students, not faculty." Silence. Then the voice said, "Where did you learn to spot them?" "My dad taught me." More silence. Then, "I'm sending someone." Before she could ask who, the line went dead. History comes back. The next morning, a woman stood outside Jefferson High waiting at the gate. Sharp suit, dark sunglasses, clipboard in hand. Maya spotted her instantly. She looked like a school inspector, or at least that's what the office thought. But Maya recognized her, Tasha Kane, an old friend of her father's, ex-military intelligence. One of the few who knew what Maya had been trained to survive after her mother's death, during the dark years when danger came in waves from places that weren't even listed on a map. Tasha didn't smile, just nodded once and handed Maya a folded slip of paper. Inside it read, "You're not being watched by students, you're being tested. There's more to this than bullies. Be ready, TK." The hidden footage. That same day, Maya was called to the AV room, allegedly to help with a video project for Black History Month. She went, expecting nothing unusual. But when she arrived, the room was empty. The projector was already on the screen, surveillance footage, grainy, low quality, clearly not from school cameras. The footage showed the hallway outside the girls' bathroom, the day Chloe brought the taser, the day Maya walked away. But then, seconds after Maya left, a man in a maintenance uniform entered the frame. He picked up the taser and pocketed it, then looked straight into the camera. The screen went black. That man wasn't staff, and the taser was never turned in. The setup was deeper than she thought. That night, Maya searched online for any traces of the man's face. She didn't find it. In school records, not on Facebook, not even buried in alumni photos. But her gut told her this wasn't just someone helping the bullies. This was someone sent to observe her reaction, to see what she'd do under pressure. Someone testing her limits. Why? What had she done? What had her family done to attract attention from people who operated like this? She needed answers. So she did the one thing she hadn't done in years. She broke into her father's locked filing cabinet. The truth behind the silence. Inside, she found a worn leather folder stamped with a seal she didn't recognize. Military but not official. Underground. Inside were clippings, reports, photos of her mother, and one handwritten note. "They'll come for her when she turns 17. She's too much like her mother. Watch for signs. Don't let them take her." Her father had known. He'd been preparing her not just to defend herself from bullies, but from something bigger. A program, a network, something that had taken her mother, something that had once tried to take her. The game was still On when Maya confronted her dad that night, he didn't deny it. They tried to recruit your mother. She refused. She vanished 6 months later. You think they're coming for me? They're already here, he said. They've just changed tactics. They don't drag people away anymore. They push them to the edge and see who survives the fall. And those who survive, they recruit. He nodded, Maya's fists clenched. I'm not going anywhere. No, he said. You're going to expose them. You're going to make them regret ever testing you. The real revenge. The next day, Maya returned to school with a USB drive hidden in her backpack. Inside, a full copy of the surveillance footage. Edited clips showing the man picking up the taser, the school office ignoring complaints, proof of the setup. She didn't post it online. She didn't want to go viral. She sent it anonymously to 3 news stations, 2 local, 1 national. Within 24 hours, reporters were at Jefferson High's gates, and the moment the story broke, the school scrambled. They blamed it on incompetent staff and rogue actors. But Maya knew better. The storm hadn't just passed. She had become it. But the watchers still watched. On her way home that Friday, Maya passed the same dark car again. This time, a man in the passenger seat rolled down the window. He didn't smile. He just said, "Impressive," then handed her a card. Black, no writing, just a number. "If you ever want real answers," he said, "call it." And then the car drove off. Maya's choice that night. Maya stood in her room, staring at the card. She could burn it. She could pretend none of this ever happened. Or she could dive deeper. She didn't decide just yet. But she knew one thing for sure. This story started with bullies in a school hallway, but it was never about just them. It was about systems, power, secrets, and girls like her. Girls trained in the dark to survive what others wouldn't. One girl against the machine Friday night, stretched long and quiet. Maya sat in her room, holding the black card between her fingers. It was blank, no logo, no name, just a single embossed number that shimmered under the lamp. She turned it over again. She could burn it. She could pretend this was over, but she couldn't ignore what she'd uncovered. The secret watchers, the man in the footage, the test she'd unknowingly passed. And now they wanted to talk? Why? She picked up her dad's burner phone. Hands steady. Heart calm! She dialed the number, the call that changed everything. The line clicked, then silence. Maya almost hung up. Then came a voice, low, emotionless, and eerily calm. You've proven difficult to predict. That makes you valuable. You can still walk away, Maya, or you can come and see what this is really about. She didn't answer immediately. I want answers, she said, about my mother, about what this program is, about why you're watching me. Come alone. Sunday, 6 a.m. Coordinates will be sent. And then the call ended. Father and daughter she. Didn't sleep much that night. When dawn came, her father was already in the kitchen packing a tactical bag. You called them, he said. Not a question. I want the truth. He didn't stop her. He simply handed her a folded piece of paper. Inside, an address and a backup number. If you're not back in 6 hours, he said, I come find you. Maya nodded. I trained you. For survival, he said. But remember, knowing when not to fight is sometimes the most dangerous skill. She nodded again, but her eyes burned with something else. She wasn't going to run. She was going to expose them. The facility, the coordinates, led her to an abandoned factory 40 miles outside the city, except it wasn't abandoned. Cameras moved with quiet precision. A steel door opened the moment she stepped forward. Inside, everything was cold metal, soft lights and silence. Then a woman appeared, mid-40s, black suit, hair in a tight bun. Call me Director Vale, she said. We've been watching you for some time. Maya didn't respond. Vale motioned her into a glass-walled conference room. Screens lined the walls. On them, footage of Maya at school, on the bus, even in her own backyard. Maya's stomach turned. You've been spying on a kid. No, Vale corrected. We've been identifying potential assets, people with instinct, precision, control. You're not a child, Maya. You're a product of extraordinary conditioning." Maya's jaw clenched. "My mother was extraordinary. And she vanished." Vale didn't blink. "She didn't vanish. She chose to disappear after refusing us. Why? Because she saw the cost of joining, and maybe she knew you would be stronger than she ever was." The offer, then came the pitch. They called themselves The Fold, an unlisted agency operating beneath international radar. Not FBI, not CIA, deeper, older. They recruited young talents, those with combat instincts, psychological endurance, emotional detachment, not from military families, but from trauma, pain, survival. "You're a prime candidate," Vale said. "Because bullies cornered me and I didn't fall apart," Maya said bitterly. "Because you studied every move. You predicted every outcome. You dismantled their power without lifting a weapon. And when threatened with real danger, you didn't lose control." Maya shook her head. "You're studying kids like they're lab rats," Vale leaned in. "We don't want soldiers. We want survivors who can't be broken." Maya stood. "You want people you can use. We want people who matter." Maya walked to the door. "Think it over," Vale said as the doors opened. But Maya was already gone. A message. Left behind. That night, Maya posted something online. Not to social media, but to a hidden forum she found in her mother's documents, a place where whistleblowers, ex-intel agents, and forgotten survivors left coded messages. She wrote, "They tried to recruit another one, but this time," she wrote back, "Daughter of Fire, within hours," someone responded. "You're not alone. Some of us got out, and we're still watching them." Ren 6. It wasn't over. It was bigger than ever. The new target. The next morning at school, things had returned to normal. On the surface, students whispered about the news stations, about Maya's mystery footage, about how Aubrey's family lawyered up and left town. No one knew what Maya had really done, but they knew not to mess with her. Still, she noticed someone watching her. Not a suit this time. A girl. New. Quiet. Sitting 2 tables away in the cafeteria, stirring yogurt but never eating. She watched Maya, the same way the others had, but this time, Maya smiled and walked right over. "New here?" she asked. The girl nodded. "Transferred last week." "You don't look lost. You look like you're studying." The girl blinked, then smirked. "You are good," she said. Maya slid into the seat across from her. "If they sent you," she said calmly, "tell them this. Next time they try to test me, I won't just survive. I'll flip it inside out. What the Fold never expected." That night, Maya returned to her room. She took out her mother's necklace, opened the clasp, and removed the tiny chip hidden inside, plugged it into her laptop. Thousands of files. Opened surveillance blueprints, Fold operative lists, training logs, names, dates, cover schools, patterns. Everything her mother had spent years collecting before they disappeared her. And now, all of it belonged to Maya. She wasn't just the girl who stood up to bullies anymore. She was the girl who could take down the very system that created them. The plan over the next few days, Maya started reaching out to the survivors, to the whistleblowers, to Ren 6. She created a new network, off-grid, encrypted, not to fight the Fold head-on. That would be suicide, but to expose them from the inside, slowly, strategically, precisely, the same way they operated. She began tracking recruits, people like the quiet new girl. She found old Fold facilities, shut down after failures. She built maps, codenamed them, shared them with trusted allies, and all the while she kept walking the halls of Jefferson High like nothing had changed. To them, she was still just the girl who fought back. They had no idea she was building something bigger. Behind the scenes, the Fold's final warning won last time. A letter arrived at her locker, handwritten. "You're making enemies who don't send warnings. Stop now, or disappear like the rest. There was no name, no signature, just the folded corner, identical to how her mother used to fold her letters. Maya looked at it for a long time, then lit it on fire. She wasn't afraid, because fear is what they wanted. And all her life, she'd been trained not to run from darkness, but to walk through it with her head high. She walked through fire. The morning sun broke through Maya's bedroom blinds like golden spears. Birds chirped outside. A neighbor's dog barked. To anyone else, it was just another Saturday. But Maya knew better. Today wasn't ordinary. Today was the end, or maybe the beginning. The final strike over the past 2 weeks, Maya's digital map of the Fold's hidden network had grown from scattered clues to an interconnected system. She knew where their regional safe houses were, which schools they used as training sites, and even which agents were watching which teens. And the chip from her mother's necklace? It contained one final file. Operation Scorch, a covert cleansing protocol to erase agents who failed or tried to leave, and her mother's name was listed. Coded, yes, but unmistakable. Her mother hadn't just refused recruitment. She had tried to take the Fold down, just like Maya, and for that she'd been erased. But this time, the Fold had chosen the wrong girl, because Maya was not only her mother's daughter, she was her finisher. The Whisper Network, the night before, Maya sent out a final encrypted message to her secret forum of allies. Tonight, 1:03 a.m., we cut their wires. Simultaneous data breach. Save the files. Don't destroy. Truth is stronger than revenge. Doff, Daughter of Fire. Dozens of replies came in. Some were ex-agents, some were survivors, some were just watchers. People who'd seen too much and stayed quiet too long. But now, they were ready. The breach at exactly 1:03 a.m., Maya hit send on her command. Using the stolen access protocols from Director Vale's facility, Maya initiated a cascading breach, one that opened every Fold terminal, every secure server, every secret black site database. The Fold's walls didn't crumble from bombs or bullets. They fell from exposure. All the hidden files, all the candidate dossiers, all the missions, all the recordings, released not to the public, but to the right people, independent journalists, honest lawmakers, international watchdogs, people who couldn't be bought. Within an hour, Maya's laptop exploded with alerts. One journalist messaged back, "We just verified everything. This changes everything." Another wrote, "If this is real, you may have just saved thousands." The Fold's reaction: they didn't come in a black car this time. They came in silence, a message on Maya's window in red chalk, written backwards from the outside. "We knew you'd be trouble. But even trouble dies eventually." It wasn't a threat. It was a warning, a final chance to run. But Maya didn't run. Instead, she went downstairs, packed a small bag, and handed her father a copy of the encrypted files. "If anything happens to me," she said, "you release the second wave." He looked at her, eyes full of quiet pride and worry. "You're becoming the woman your mother always hoped you'd be," he said. Maya hugged him tightly, then walked out the front door without looking back. The meeting place. She returned to the same abandoned facility where it all started, but this time the gates were open, waiting for her inside. Director Vale, flanked by 2 silent agents. No weapons drawn, just eyes full of cold fire. "You've done irreversible damage," Vale said. No. You've burned a machine that's been running since before you were born." "Then it deserved to burn." Vale studied her, almost like she was proud. "You remind me of your mother." "Good," Maya said. "I'm finishing what she started." Vale stepped closer. "You think you've won, but there are layers even deeper than the Fold. You've only cracked the surface." "I'm counting on it," Maya replied, "because I'm not here to destroy every layer. I'm here to expose the first one, so the world knows the others exist." For the first time, Vale hesitated. "Then what now?" she asked. "You think you can walk away, start over?" "No," Maya said. "I know I'll always be hunted, but now you will be too. And every time you try to recruit another kid, every time you think you've found your next asset." She leaned forward. "You'll wonder if they're one of mine." What the Fold feared most, Maya turned and left, and Vale didn't stop her because she knew the Fold's power had never been in weapons or secrecy. It had always been in control, but Maya had broken their grip, not by killing, not by hiding, but by telling the truth. And now the Fold would spend its remaining years covering tracks instead of making plans. The hunted had become the hunter, and the machine had started to rust. Back at school, 2 weeks later, Jefferson High had returned to near normal. Principal Green was replaced. Surveillance policies were overhauled. An independent investigation was ongoing. And Maya, she walked the halls like a storm after lightning. Quiet, powerful, and impossible to ignore. No one whispered about her anymore. They watched her with awe. Even teachers seemed gentler around her, as if they knew, somehow, that she'd faced something no textbook could prepare her for. The girl who lived one afternoon, a quiet knock came at her locker. It was the new girl again, the one who'd watched her weeks ago. Now she didn't smirk. She looked scared. "They approached me," she whispered. "Last night gave me a card, said I was special." Maya nodded slowly. "Do you want out?" Tears formed in the girl's eyes. "I don't want to disappear." "You won't," Maya said. She slipped her a folded paper. "Tell them nothing. I'll handle the rest." The girl stared at her, trembling. "You're not scared?" Maya smiled faintly. "I used to be." The legacy lives on that night. Maya opened her mother's last journal. At the final page, she noticed faint writing, only visible under light. It read, "She'll rise through pain, not power. Through truth, not terror. She'll be the fire they can't contain." Maya closed the book, held it to her chest, and finally let herself cry, not out of grief, but release, because it was done. The story that began with a girl cornered in a classroom had become something far greater, a movement, a warning, a legend. Final words, Maya didn't need fame or revenge or closure from the people who hurt her. What she found was something stronger, purpose, and as she stood beneath the stars that night, wind brushing through her hair, she whispered to the sky, "Mom, they tried to bury me, but I grew anyway, and now I'm coming for the roots." The end.